Good morning, Lydia. Thank you for joining me today on the Business Spotlight series. I'd like to have you tell us a bit about your businesses and where they're located, and from there, we'll go through our interview. All right? Thank you.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks for having me. So my name is Lydia Crespo, and I own three businesses in St. Charles, Missouri, in the historic district here. The first business is Argaman Defiance. It's a clothing production studio where we're actually hand dyeing garments in the studio. The second is Cozy Shop, and that was opened in 2020. And at Cozy Shop, everything is either handmade or designed in the Midwest. We really love shouting out that local maker and that local entrepreneur as much as possible. And then the newest business, which is actually going to be opening next month in March, which I'm very excited about, is called Chuck and Lou. And it is a store all about St. Charles and St. Louis, two things I'm very passionate about.
Awesome. You're a very ambitious young lady, so I'm very interested in this interview today. Three businesses, and you look very young, so we'll learn a little bit more about you. So I'm Dr. Mike Smith, the action coach for the St. Louis region, and thank you again for being on here. So I'm going to start by asking you, this is easier when you're older to answer because you're still young, but if you had to start all over from square one in business, what would you do differently?
Um, I would start sooner. With my first business, Argaman Defiance, I started it when I was in college, and it was just kind of, for some reason, I just had it in my head. This is just a hobby. It was a side hustle before side hustle was like a catchphrase. And so I just wish I would have had more confidence sooner to actually believe that it was a real thing. And because the moment I did that, I'm not kidding you, it was like I put out a beacon, and I was working with Urban Outfitters. I'm working with Google. I'm working with ServiceNow. Like I get to work with the Elvis Presley Graceland estate I worked with. It was the moment I took it seriously and really
Right.
put some chutzpah behind it. It really took off. So that would be my biggest thing to tell young entrepreneurs is just take it seriously sooner and really put your heart into it.
So after you opened your first business, how long was it before you opened your second business?
Uh, I opened, I started Argument and Defiance in 2010, around that time. And then I started Cozy Shop, the second, in 2020, which was a very interesting time all around just to start a new
Yeah,
business.
yeah, yeah. Unless you own Zoom or WebEx, yeah, it was an interesting time for
Yes.
everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Great. And then I understand that you've got a new one starting up. So you've got 2010, 2020. Now you're 2024. So you're moving it up. You cut your time in half between businesses from 10 years to
Sure did.
four.
Sure did.
Really good. That's great. So how many employees do you have across your businesses?
We have it's mostly retail that I do.
Okay.
We're in a shopping district. I'm selling a lot of apparel and goods. So my employees shift throughout the year because we're more of a
Hmm.
seasonal business. So I have anywhere from 6 to 8 right now, and then once the holidays hit, that can get all the way up to 20 employees. And going from a solo studio, venture, which is where I started out, to having
Hmm.
then 20 employees was really an interesting shift for me, and a big learning curve. Learning how to communicate and make sure that not just communicate, not just make sure people hear what I was saying, but also making sure I was giving channels and opportunities for my employees to also be heard. That's really important to me.
So how do you foster an environment, a positive, productive environment? So you told us a little bit about how many employees you have
Mhm.
and the values that you have, but tell me a little bit about how you foster that, how you keep the employees and how you engage them in today's
Yeah.
world where the unemployment rate's extremely low, right? And
Yeah.
you have to make an effort to keep them. So tell me a
Absolutely.
little.
I value them. I really, it is really that simple. I really I give them a lot of opportunity to make sure that, that like the things that they're seeing, going on in the store, that they're, allowing those ideas to be fostered and put into practice. So just like letting them know that they are smart and that their input is valuable to me is really important. The other thing is I just set expectations all the time. This is what I need from you. And if you ever forget, like what those expectations are, here's the employee handbook. Here's another set of, here's the employee handbook written, the binder that's below the cash register, again, just in case you forget, or here's the Google Doc. So just kind of having those expectations everywhere, where if they forget, or if they need a quick recap of what I'm expecting of them, they have access to that information at all times. And then another thing is just I really love what I do. So like, and I think it's kind of infectious. So I think that makes it a really fun environment to work in.
I think you're exactly right. If they come and are motivated and they're motivated by you because of your energy, that's sure going to help out everyone. So that's
Absolutely.
wonderful. So, what are some of the misconceptions about running a business and how do you address them? Everybody today thinks, oh, you get a business, you make so much money, everything's wonderful. Tell me a little bit about the misconceptions of running a business, how you address those.
Oh yeah, like, oh, you have so much free time. You must just be like get to make your own schedule. Wake up at noon, and no, it's not that at all. I and here I am opening another business, and it's I already don't sleep, but like it's something that if you're going to go into this, just have the expectation that it will always be on your mind, whether it's front of mind or back of mind. It's always going to be on your mind, and for me, that's okay. I can operate that way. My family is, like it understands that about me and accommodates that for me, which is really wonderful. And I don't have to lose too much of like, my personal life because of that, because of I kind of fostered this community around me of other people who also are, the ambitious and always working and always wanting to work towards something. So, but it isn't just something that you lay back and just let the money roll in, particularly for retail. This is it's something that you always have to be on, engaged and working towards the next thing, or or probably in my case is more accurate. You're always just a little behind and you're just trying to catch up. So
That's right. And being behind is good because when you're caught up, you'll be scared.
yes, yes, it's so true.
So you kind of touched on the next question, so I'm going to skip it for a moment. But
Sure.
um, when you think about the St. Charles district down where you're at, and you have the a lot of tourists that come in there, you have the shopping seasons, etc. How do you ramp up and get ready for those peak seasons? You talked about, you have anywhere from X to Y employees. How do you ramp up and ramp down? What's your
Yeah. So for it is. We are in a extremely. It's just an incredible historic district, and it's a small business district. There's over 120 other small businesses along Main Street. It's an incredible area. But how I ramp up is I start in July actually. And we are already doing training with my employees just to make sure that they are up on all the product knowledge, reminding them again how to talk to customers, how to engage with them. And then also another thing is when customers are down here on Main Street, it's beautiful and it's overwhelming. And there's literal, Victorian carolers roaming down the streets singing Christmas carols. It's incredible. But they sometimes the customers get a little overwhelmed. So it's my job to remind my staff and train them to kind of like when they come back and when they're coming back into the store to kind of get them back into the mode of Christmas shopping, and how we can best serve them. And then I'm sorry, what I forgot. I totally
No,
forgot.
no,
Okay.
I was no, you're on a roll. I
Yeah,
asked
I
how
was
you
on.
just
Oh,
ramp
it
it,
was
ramping up and
about
ramping
the
down.
yes, yeah. Another thing we do to kind of ramp up for the holiday season. Our holiday season actually begins in October, which is very rare for retail. So again, that's why we're starting in kind of June, July, and I'm designing products. We do a lot of in-house designing, so I have to get ahead of that in June or July. So I'll start designing then Christmas ornaments, T-shirts, specialty items, you name it. I'm designing it. So it's just kind of putting a lot of thought into that. That's also another thing where I'm leaning on my staff, who is really my point of contact with our customer base. They are talking with the customers, engaging them, and through those conversations, they're finding out what it is that we're missing or what the customer wants, and then they actually are able to put that in a Slack channel for me, which is kind of organized texting. If anybody's not familiar with Slack. and so they'll put those suggestions in there, and I'll think, oh, I never thought of someone actually wanting something like that, and I can get a chance to design it or bring it into the shop.
That's great. Get a lot of the feedback and the interaction from from your customers and doing those. So when you St. Charles District down there, and I asked that because I've had several of you on the Business Spotlight series.
Yeah.
Does the St. Charles District, Historical District, is there a group that helps to market all of that? Do you pay a fee into that or something, or do you just market on your own, or how does that work? Because it's a community, right? If I think about downtown St. Charles as being the same thing as like a mall, right? You've got to have, everybody's going to know that Mid Rivers Mall exists, right? But
Right.
just like Old Town St. Charles, everybody knows it exists, but it's such a mecca for people who come from out of town. I spend a lot of time entertaining people who've come into town for different companies I work for, and I'd always take them down there. It's just a unique place. So talk a
Yeah.
little bit about all the businesses down there. Do you guys all work together to market, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways we market ourselves. I mean, obviously, everybody's coming to it. We're all independently owned, so there's not a lot of restrictions in how we market or the way we're marketing. So for me, it's just I kind of have a knack for it, so I kind of do my own thing. What's been really fun and interesting is that all the other businesses down here, a good number of them also want to collaborate and do fun things together, and that for me is really fun to talk about. So it kind of takes the ickiness out of marketing and makes it a lot more fun. So I love when we can collaborate on like a couple, like a Facebook event or an Instagram live, which we did a lot of during the pandemic. Just stuff like that that makes it a lot more fun. And then of course there is like the city of St. Charles has the Convention and Visitors Bureau, which does a lot of marketing and does an incredible job. I cannot speak highly enough about them, of like bringing attention to this incredible historic district and what's going on. Yeah. Also, I mean, just in the city of St. Charles Communications Department also does just an incredible job of making sure that we're known and putting a spotlight on us of what we do here and what makes us special.
Yeah, I'm a member of the St. Louis Regional Commerce, and they do a wonderful job as well. Really,
They
really doing.
do. Yeah. Actually, I'm on the tourism commission with Scott Tate. So, and yeah, and it's just, again, I love how much the city of St. Charles loves our feedback as business owners and I'm also a resident of St. Charles, and just like, leaning on us to help forge that direction it's really exciting. And I feel very lucky to live here.
Wonderful. So you seem young and a lot of ambitions. So you're going to be ready to
I'm
open your
not
third
that
business.
young.
It's all right. You look young, and that's what counts.
Yes, yeah.
Um, so you're going to open your third business. What are your dreams and your goals to do in the future? I mean, obviously you've got a long time left, right? And you're getting ready to start your third business. You don't have to tell us your top secret, but are you looking forward to opening even more? What do you like the most? I mean, any type of business that you want to change into? What are kind of some of your dreams and goals that you have for your businesses going forward?
I really love bringing attention to businesses like mine when I was first starting out, is like those small makers, those people who just have like a little dream and they think they can turn it into something big, or even better, like make an income off of it. So
Right.
for me, it's kind of fostering that community and bringing attention to those small makers as much as possible. So any new businesses, any direction I go in is always going to do that. And then also that speaks to just my wider brand in general. I Every single one of my businesses, I love community, I love collaborating, and I love bringing people together. And so I don't know. Within starting a new business, I haven't been able to think too long term right now, but I keep thinking about like really just the central goals that I want to keep for each business. And that's something that I always come back to, is this fostering community, making room for relationships, and really bringing attention to what makes St. Charles amazing, and how we can like kind of work together to make it even more incredible.
That's great. So, what do you attribute your growth to? You started your first business in college. Tell us a bit about how you grew that business and what do you attribute your growth?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to almost exactly what I said before, is just fostering a community and be finding other people who are doing something similar to me, or maybe in the same stage of their developing their business. Maybe they're doing it a little bit better than me,
Mhm.
and becoming friends with them, completely removing the competition stuff out of it, and just saying, "I'm here to support you. I want to learn from you. Like, let's see what we can do together." And I have found that removing that barrier, that like icky competition, is the best way to not just become like, not just to grow your own business and to become a better person, but also to like kind of start creating this amazing community of like, where I'm here to help you, and it just I'm here to support you just as much as you're going to support me. And it's like, it's really wonderful to see that come back. And if that's one thing that is one thing that has been like just a standard throughout every single business that I open, is that I'm here to help others just as much, to get as much as I give, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I can tell by your energy that's a very effective ploy that you have there. So, I'm sure that works extremely well. So, I have a lot of people from BNI, Business Networking International, that follow me and hopefully listen to me from time to time. And what is your ideal customer? What does your ideal customer look like? And tell us a bit about your ideal customer.
Sure. Yeah. So my ideal customer, it pretty much overlaps from Argaman and Defiance, my first business in Cozy Shop. It's typically women in their 30s up to their 80s, who like a lot of color, who like a lot of who are, like to be comfortable. I do a lot of sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff. And then particularly at Cozy Shop, it's just women who like to laugh and not take themselves too seriously, who like to have a good time. We have an amazing bar section at Cozy Shop. So it's women who just like to celebrate life, who love to host and have a great party, but also who never shows up to the party without an amazing gift. That is my customer.
Gotcha. Very well. So, what's the perfect referral partner? So, if you think about being in a network, in chamber or BNI or other groups, what's your ideal referral partner? Who can help you the most from a referral standpoint?
Other customers, just yeah, honestly, just hearing, I went into Cozy Shop and worked with Sophie, and she was amazing. She helped me find a gift for my mother-in-law, who just, who I have no idea what to buy for. Like, it's just that kind of stuff. If we can take a little bit of that off of the customer and just send them out of the shop with an amazing gift, that's wonderful. Now, the other thing too is that we do is, for you mentioned how St. Charles is a wonderful place for tourists, and it's just a great place to come when you're celebrating anything. We are also your local guides at Cozy Shops. So if a customer comes in, they're visiting from out of town, they pick up an awesome St. Charles T-shirt. We're also going to send them off with our restaurant recommendations, with our brunch recommendations, where you can find the most amazing cocktail. I love being an authority on that information, because we're just going above and beyond for our customers that way. So as far as like a referral goes, so like, and we have even tourists that come back because they were like, "We didn't get to try everything on your list," because I literally send them out the door with a list. "We didn't get to try everything on your list. We're going to come back to St. Charles and finish off that list." And I'm like, "Great, I love to hear it," because when my business is doing well, or when other people's businesses is doing well, the city of St. Charles is doing well.
That is awesome. Thank you. Well, I'm going to wrap up here and like to have you, one, give us the name of your businesses again and where they can find you. And also at the end, tell us the new business that you're starting and when that is and where it'll be located as well.
Sure. So excuse me. My name is Lydia Crespo, and I own Argaman and Defiance, which is a production studio, and that is located at 610 South Main. I also own Cozy Shop, which is located at 338 South Main Street, right next to the gazebo and a patty corner from Grandma's Cookies, in case anyone's wondering. And then Chuck and Lou is also going to be at 610 South Main, and that opens in March.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Mike Smith from Action Coach, and I really appreciate the interview and appreciate your energy. I think we would like to all bottle that up and and take it and do something with it. So I greatly appreciate that, and thank you for joining us today.